Hot and very sunny and bright, as we found out taping our open today on the beach.
It wasn't too hot where I was.
And apparently not.
A nice little umbrella there. You know what I'm talking about?
Cedeno took a strike, and we have to alert the Academy. There was some fine acting in that piece, Tom. You made me cry.
No. It was all the stand-ins walking behind us up and down the beach. That's where the Emmys would be going, big boy.
You say you made me cry, but not for the reason you think. Timo Perez next, and then Roberto Alomar. Cedeno hitting 167. And starting in center field today, hits that one sharply, but Cabrera, the Gold Glover, got in front of it quickly. One down. Zach Day today making his first career start against the Mets. He took the loss in his last start, just 4 1/3 innings against the Cubs. But on April 2nd, he was outstanding against the Braves. He grabbed the win with 7 scoreless innings. He'll take on Timo Perez now, playing left field. Cliff Floyd sitting this one out, at least at the outset. He was getting a lot of treatment on that right Achilles, which he strained last night in the 7th inning after a base hit. Same injury that caused Cliff Floyd to miss more than 10 weeks the 99 season. And Timo Perez also got hurt last night, drilled on this pitch. That was ruled a swing and a miss, and strike 3.
And a little bit of the walking wounded last night, and you can see the pitcher saying to the third base umpire, making the call. Now look at this pitch right at Timo Perez, and a really good call by the home plate umpire Bill Miller, asking for help at third, and the third base umpire said no, he swung at it.
Line hard to fair ball. That'll bounce all the way into the corner. Extra bases now for Timo. Heading into second base. Guerrero had a long way to get it, holds him to 2, and it's a double. So apparently that wrist is just fine.
Well, that was one of the questions last night, whether Timo Perez would be able to play, and got some ice and treatment on it, and certainly swinging the bat very well. A lot of foul territory here in this stadium in San Juan, and good speed with Timo Perez, and he can get you some extra base hits. He is quietly making a statement to say, I want to play every day. He had 2 hits last night and on base a couple of times.
And again, a rousing ovation for Roberto Alomar, the native of Puerto Rico. Good night for Robbie. He was 2 for 3 to a walk in the Mets loss. New York has lost 4 straight. First pitch is across for a strike. The Mets right now as a team starting to show a little more life offensively. They did have 10 hits in the defeat. They'll play 1 more here in San Juan tomorrow late in the afternoon, then 3 in Pittsburgh to end this 10-game trip. Fouled back by Alomar. Switch batter at 244 at the moment. Your local Jeep dealers bring our Spanish viewers the chance to enjoy today's telecast in Espanol. Roberto Alomar doing his interviews in English and in Spanish, and doing tons before every game. And a huge start. That one caroms away from Barrett, and Timo Perez will move up 90 feet. Michael Barrett could not corral it.
The bane of the splitter is when it dives into the ground. Given a lot of hitters fits, but watch this ball go down. And it's spinning. It has a lot of top spin, and it kicks off to the right. It looked like it may have hit just on the backside of the plate. And Barrett trying to curl those shoulders, try to get up a little bit. He knew the ball was going to bounce up. It bounced right over that left shoulder. It is.
So a wild pitch.
That's a break for the Mets here, moving the man up to third base with an out.
The Expos will concede the run on a ground ball. The infield is backed up. So the Mets trying to strike first here, and trying to end the losing streak that has them at 4-7. Piazza on deck. 1-2, and that almost hit the pitcher. Line right by the ear of Zach Day. Timo Perez can crawl home, and maybe some magic here for Roberto Alomar. His bat is springing to life here in his homeland. 2 hits last night, an RBI single today.
Well, this ball hit right on the button, a bullet, a little hanging slider, maybe a fork ball, right up and out over the plate. And good crisp swing put on it by Roberto Alomar, right down on top of it. Right down there at just 2 strikes, taking the ball right back up the middle. So big RBI for Roberto, and the Mets jump out in front.
Very tough night for Mike Piazza last night. 0 for 5, left 7 men on base, and if ever you've seen a man about to come out of his skin, it was Mike Piazza for all 9 innings yesterday, and then after the game, pretty much beside himself. And he said the only one to blame is Mike Piazza for this 125 average. Tom, if I had said to you before the season started, 2 weeks in, Mike Piazza would not have an RBI or a home run, what would you say?
I'd say, what planet are you on, for crying out loud? Can't happen. I mean, he was absolutely livid last night. Hit that ball to the wall in left center field in the 9th inning. Ball did not go out. It is a short porch here to center, 330, 399 to center field, and 360 in the alleys. At least that is what is reported. But as Mike pointed out, the flags in center field blow straight in. Now, they were not blowing straight in last night, but here early in the game, they're blowing straight in from center field. Ball does not carry as well as much as I was led to believe before it got down here, because this is a new experience to a lot of players coming down and playing in this ballpark.
Did not carry at all last night, as Mike found. He fights that one off and bloops a foul to the right. He's really upset with himself because he's swinging in a lot of bad pitches, he says, lunging. He's helping pitchers out. Everything out of the strike zone that he has either tapped weakly or struck out on. He's about ready to pop the buttons on that shirt.
Well, he's seen a lot of breaking balls from a club that is managed by Frank Robinson, and that was a fastball right in on his fist, and he fought it off. But they have thrown Piazza a lot of breaking balls. One of the rules of baseball, if you're a pitcher or a pitching coach, you see a hitter who has tremendous bat speed, as Mike Piazza does. You try to slow the bat speed down with off-speed pitches.
Piazza in an 0 for 15 skid. Up top, 3-2.
Hanging slider right there, trying to throw a 99-mile-an-hour slider. The call was for a breaking ball away, it looked like, and that was a real, if he'd have gotten that down, a real roller, if he'd gotten down right about letter high, that's the kind of pitch that Mike Piazza will crush. He is a good fastball hitter, talking about Piazza, and an excellent mistake hitter.
He's also usually excellent in the month of April. The runner goes. Hard ground ball, deep third. Tatis has one play. First base, got him. The Mets sent the runner, so Alomar is safely into second base with 2 out. 1-0 New York here. And Mo Vaughn will stride up to swing. Now, you hope with Piazza what happened last night in the 9th inning, as frustrating an evening as it was, and he has had few nights more frustrating than that. You hope that near home run to the warning track is what triggered something and got him going. Mo Vaughn hitting 179. A lot of low batting averages will recite today up and down the New York lineup, with the exception of Ty Wigginton. Mo takes strike 1. Vaughn yesterday 1 for 3 with a single, but barely. His 4th inning hit to right field. That dropped in front of Vladimir Guerrero, but he charged it and gunned to first base and almost got Mo Vaughn. Ground ball skips off the mound right into that shift, though. The shortstop Cabrera made the play and on to first base.
Now Leiter 2-0, looking for win number 3 and snap the Mets out of this 4-game losing streak. That cutter that he will throw so often, 37-year-old 6'3" Al Leiter, and Chavez leads it off for Montreal.
Al today starting a game in his 39th different stadium in his career. He has won his first 2 outings, a 2.13 ERA. Tap, there's Wigginton along the line. Long throw, speedy runner, but he got him.
Last night, and he was uncertain whether he'd be able to play. We talked to him this morning, and they waited and waited and waited, and finally they said take another day off and put Bell out at shortstop. Let's have one more game down here.
Yeah, and an unusual start time too. 4:45 tomorrow afternoon. That'll be Steve Traxel against Javier Vasquez, who is also a native of Puerto Rico, as is the man at the plate, Jose Vidro. The fly ball left center, Cedeno backing up now, turns on it, sees it, he's got it. 2 away.
A little bit of an example. We talked about this ball and how it carries in this ballpark, and the wind blowing straight in from center field. Now, you can't really tell. You have to look at it again whether it hit the ball right on the sweet spot or not. There's a look at the weather, 91 degrees and humidity 72%. That wind, wherever it's coming from, the hitters know it. It's coming right in from center field. And that ball, which looked like it came off the bat, well, didn't even get to the warning track.
Vladimir Guerrero hitting .324, and Leiter wisely starts him out of the strike zone. Vladimir would rather have a root canal than face Leiter. 0.94 lifetime against him. In fact, he started his career 0 for 23 against the Met left-hander. Breaking ball zipped in there for a strike. Ray Sanchez on the bench right now. Dizziness and an upset stomach last night. But we saw him chowing down on an omelet before the game. And so Tom and I were chatting with him in the clubhouse. And seemed like he was quickly on the road to recovery. Ate something nasty yesterday, apparently before the game. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Hit sharply, but there's Jay Bell with a stop. And a very brisk inning. Hall of Famer Tom Seaver, Dave O'Brien on a sunny hot day, 91 degrees in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The Montreal Expos are playing 22 home games out of Montreal. And here's Ty Wigginton, the Mets top hitter, stepping in at .353. A strike to the right-hand hitter. He's also whacked 2 home runs, had 2 more hits last night. Also a very sharp bases loaded ground ball in the 7th inning. That was played off Jeff Leafer's arm. It could have been ruled a hit. It was an error, and 2 runs scored on it. Tommy, you were talking about the almost linebacker approach that he takes into the batter's box. As he bowled over Michael Barrett at the plate, leading all National League rookies with that batting average. Look at that slugging, .706.
Very nice surprise for the Mets right there.
High chopper, Cabrera gloves and fires and gets it. That young man can play shortstop. He won a Gold Glove a couple of years ago. And go back to the play last night when he took on Barrett at the plate.
Sinjo hits the ball to the right side off the glove of the first baseman, and then retrieved it home by the second baseman in the football mentality. And he looks like a linebacker. Right through the catcher, and the ball popped out, scored a run. You'd see the ball right underneath his feet right there. It's good play, good clean hard play. Catcher's the one with all the equipment, and Ty Wigginton crossed his arms, got his elbows in. It's like a little brick going in there to home plate.
And he loves it too. He
absolutely.
Told us after the game, he said, I love the contact.
Hits the ball 400 feet, 450 feet. He's sprinting around the bases.
Jeremy Burnett's hitting .243. And back in there in right field, a homer, 3 runs batted in for Jeremy. Jay Bell will follow him. He's in at short this afternoon.
Reaction right there looked like Jeremy Burnett's. And take a look at Bell on the on-deck circle. But Jeremy got a pitch that he wanted to hit and missed it and fouled it back. We talked a little bit about that last night. When you're going well, you don't foul the pitches that you have to drive. You get a pitch that you can drive, hit hard someplace. And you may not make it. You may make it out. May not get a base hit. May hit it right on the button, right at somebody. But the key to when you're really hot and really hitting the ball well, swinging well, you hit the pitch what you have to drive, and you don't foul it back on the screen. You hit it hard someplace. You got 8 guys out there behind that pitcher to make outs for you. You're gonna every once in a while hit it right at somebody.
The 2-2 pitch. He tried to sneak it under the elbows, and the count now 3-2. I thought Burnett's also made a wonderful play off the wall on a line shot that bounced back to him. He barehanded it, fired into second. Vladimir Guerrero slipped rounding first base, but Burnett's would have had him at second had he continued on. Another bounding ball right to Vidro. 2 down.
You playing the game last night. The Mets was very frustrating for them, and you look for bright spots. Yes, the defense in right field by Burnett's, the great catch in left field by Siyosi Shinjo. There's another good play. So good defense in the outfield. One of the things about players getting an upset stomach, we talk about Ray Sanchez, etc., not playing today. He came out in the 2nd or 3rd inning last night. It gives Jay Bell a chance to play. One of the things you try to do, especially in spring training and carrying it forward, is you've got as a manager to try to get everybody their at bats. You don't want somebody that's going to get stale and sit on the bench a long time. So sometimes an injury or a day off, Saturday night game, Sunday day game, are a blessing in disguise, because you can get a guy like Jay Bell some at bats. You can get Sinjo some at bats. You can get your Joe McEwing some at bats to keep them fresh, so that when they are called on, when somebody does get hurt, they can go in and do an adequate job. Don't feel like a stranger to the batter's box against big league pitching.
And guys who have an easier avenue for the manager to get them up to hit are guys like McEwing, who can play several positions. Certainly that's the case with Jay Bell, starting at short today. He's also started at first base. That was against the Cubs on April 3rd. He's played at second and third base as well already this year. So several gloves for Jay Bell. Batting eighth this afternoon. Leiter would follow. It's 91 degrees. It is Shinjo in a turtleneck. We saw Vidro in a wool cap, stocking cap, during batting practice yesterday. It was 85. Different strokes. Base is empty here. 2 out. The Mets have the lead. 1-0. Cut on and missed by Bell. Pretty nasty sinker there by Zach Day. He picks up his first strikeout. It is 1-0 New York. The Mets getting that run in the opening inning on a pair of hits. Timo Perez with a double. Roberto Alomar driving him in. Now Leiter with a very sharp and quick first frame. He got them in order, and here's Will Cordero playing first base today for Frank Robinson's team. He takes ball 1. The Mets off to a 4-7 start. It's the same record they had after 11 games last season. But it's also the same record the Mets had in 1969. Base hit rolled through the hole by Cordero. He is the first Expo to reach today off Leiter. What was going on there in 69? 4-7.
We were just laying in the weeds, as they say.
He broke down the numbers since 1995 as far as teams making the playoffs after a particular start. And your likelihood of getting that far, if you're 9-2, you're in great shape, huh? 75% of the time after 11 games. You're going on a postseason play.
There's a lot of numbers on that chart.
Just like the numbers on our scoreboard here at Hiram Bithorn.
You know what, I thought about that last night. One of the comments I made, that one thing they definitely do need in this ballpark is a new scoreboard. You know how many outs and which one is the balls and which one's the strikes and all that. You know what else they need?
What's that?
They need a new broadcast booth too.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. You know, on the playing surface, it's about 130 degrees, 135 degrees. Up here in the booth, it's about 122.
You've got that nice trade wind coming in from center field. One of the great things about our crack crew. It's not past tense now. They're not cracked. We're talking about crack crew.
Yep.
And so we're talking about the winds and blowing straight in from center field. And boy, they went out. They found out immediately that those are indeed the trade winds.
Well, some like it hot. The Expos certainly do.
And I want to know who is going to get traded. Are there rumors about somebody of these trade winds coming in? Or?
No, it was strictly a piece of geographical information. I think our director Bill Webb came up with that. He's a huge fan of Caribbean history and the Spanish galleons and Sir Francis Drake. So some people know which way the wind is blowing. Knocked down by Vaughn at first base. And it is again blowing in as those trade winds are kicking up. And it's actually cooling off the broadcast booth, so it's welcome to us. It's blowing right at us. Not sure why we have a piece of glass in front of us. Hard hit ground ball. They had a play on a runner on the move, Cordero, but it's fouled away by Orlando Cabrera.
Frank Robinson, the manager, looked like playing hit and run there, and now Leiter with that cutter. If Cabrera had not hit that ball, looks like it might have hit him right in the chest. Now that cut fastball, and just absolutely when it is on, just eats the right hand hitters up. You'll get a lot of ground balls to third base. That's one of the things a lot of people talked about in spring training. When you've got Glavine, you've got Leiter left-handers, you're going to have a lot of ground balls to the third base side.
A blooper here the other way, and that's going to bounce into foul territory. Cordero rounds second. He is into third, and it's a double for Cabrera. Not hit terribly hard, but right down that line for an extra base hit.
Got the ball up in the strike zone, just flared it, and just like he was trying to hit the ball behind the runner, which is not an easy thing to do against Al Leiter, but Al left it out over the plate. Hustled down by Jeremy Burnitz. Oh, the Expos second and third, nobody out.
And here comes the second-year man, Brad Wilkerson. So a little trouble for Leiter, working from the stretch here with 2 men in scoring position. Wilkerson has been very productive RBI-wise for this team. A nice first 2 weeks. He leads the team with 8 runs batted in. The fastball missing, 1-0. Tatis in next. Slicer, but foul, off into the seats. Well, they had about 19,000 out here last night. That's a sellout. The games have been well received, especially if you're Montreal Expo. I mean, first 2 crowds here have been larger than all but 8 they had at Olympic Stadium last year. An inside-out swing, foul ball, a diving stop by Vaughn, but foul. 1-2 now on Brad Wilkerson.
Why did the umpire at first base wait to call that until Mo caught the ball? It's whether it goes across the bag or not. Why watch the umpire? He's looking at Mo Vaughn. Mo Vaughn catches the ball.
That's Cowboy Joe West.
Just 25 years of experience down there. Maybe he was just looking at Joe, checking it out, and said, no, it's foul ball there. Doesn't make any difference.
Leisurely pace.
Yeah. Joe West looks a lot more sedate than he used to.
Friday night, Brad Wilkerson.
They've gone down.
Able to lift this one.
Well, that's a one-handed swing. We're talking about small ballpark. That's one-handed swing. Up in the air, high fly ball, and out of here. Wind wasn't blowing in.
He strikes out frequently. Last night, twice more. He has struck out 14 times in 37 at bats. For a pitcher, a 200 strikeout season is not bad. And for a hitter, it's a different matter. And he's on that kind of a pace right now. But they'll take the offense and the punch that they get from him. Good young hitter with some socks. Second and third. Leiter looking for the first out in the inning. Broken bat flies center field. Cedeno will now come in. Cordero back to tag, and he will not try and score it. The throw home. Cordero holding at third, and wisely. You love this sound, don't you? This broken bat here.
Take a listen. Out on the end of the bat. And that bat got crooked all of a sudden. That's nicely played by Cedeno. The ball held the wind held the ball up for him, and he came in and he was coming toward the infield as he made the catch and able to make a strong throw. And with nobody out there, Frank Robinson was making the runners at least be sure that you can score, because you've got a right-hander in Tatis coming up who has had success against Al Leiter.
Now 5 out of 12, 417 against the left-hander. But overall, Tatis is scuffling at 184. The bottom third of their order, the batting averages are low. Just about every place else pretty high. Chavez hitting over 300. So is Vidro, Vladimir Guerrero. Wilkerson hitting near 300, but Tatis the number 7 man, and it's Michael Barrett after him, then the pitcher. So Leiter with a chance to get through this inning. That's a cross for a strike. One and one on Tatis. He had an RBI double last night. 1 for 4. Inside it hit him. Tatis gets hit. And that'll load up the bases for Montreal. One that got away for Al Leiter.
Well, Al Leiter, that cutter inside, that's his bread and butter. And that one just ate Tatis up. Hit him right on the back of his lap. That's what one of my friends used to say. And Jay Bale came in to talk to Al Leiter, and that doesn't really fluster a pitcher in that situation. If you think about it, well, you've lost a guy that has a good average against you. You bring up another right-hand hitter. You got one out of the inning. You'll be able to play the infield back maybe a step more to make sure if you can get two. That may be the best thing in the world that can happen. And Jay Bale coming in and make sure you know what you're doing if the ball is hit back to you. Are you going to go home? You're going to go to second base to make a difference. Which one are you going to do? Last night, Barrett to right field. And where did it go? Bingo. Over the fence, bounced back. But that was a home run to right center field. And that ball did carry to right field.
It was the only one that did. It was the only home run in the game.
That's the surprise of the series. Not as many home runs as we thought there would be in this ballpark.
Barrett got jammed, and now he's in a hole 0-2. So Leiter takes control here. His numbers against Al Leiter. Barrett was knocked absolutely wiggy in the fourth inning when Ty Wigginton knocked him over, leveled him. But to his credit, he hung in there, stayed the game, and did some damage with the bat. Leiter thinking strikeout. Pumped it up there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Al, 37 years old, born in Toms River, New Jersey. This is his 17th season in the big leagues. He's off to another quick start, just like he did last year. 2-0 with a .213 earned run average. They're filled up. Here's the 1-2. Fouled away. He fought off the breaking ball. So here in the early going, they're filled up with Cordero, Cabrera, and Tatis all the way around. The at bat of the early part of this afternoon right here. Fair ball. Look at it. Touches third. On to first, and he got out of it. Barely fair. Wigginton handles it beautifully. A 5-3 twin killing. The Expos had the bases loaded with just 1 out against Al Leiter, but the ground ball gets him out.
Well, set up by the hit batsman Fernando Tatis. You load the bases, and Al Leiter will get a lot of those. We talked about the ground balls at third base, and that was one of the question marks for the Mets. It had to be answered, and Ty Wigginton has done that very well. Great pitch by Al Leiter. Knew what he wanted to do. Change the situation. When you end up with the bases loaded, you can be really aggressive in trying to get the double play. Perfectly pitched, perfectly placed by the hitter, and perfectly executed by the third baseman. Al Leiter says, I'll take it. Now you're going to watch one of the great hitters of all time right here.
0 for 4 on the year. Then it's Cedeno and Timo Perez. You made the point that Al wasn't too shaken up by hitting Tatis, who has hit him effectively, and loading the bases, setting up the double play, which is exactly what happened. Another look at that classic Al Leiter swing.
This does not put the fear of God in anybody right here.
And he is down quickly.
Was that good morning, good afternoon, and good night? 3 pitches? Is that what that was?
Skip the good night, I think.
Thank you very much. He has great to tease, though. He's got a great sense of humor.
He sure does.
And if he'd have made a contact, there's no question the ball probably would have been out. The problem continues to be contact.
Roger Cedeno is 0 for 1.
I think he phoned that bat in, don't you?
Yeah, with a cell. It was cordless, believe me. No evidence on that one.
Where's he? See, now he's got a great sense of humor. You know, he might be over there saying, I was right on that pitch. No, he's talking serious. I'll get him next time, he says.
Yeah, a man who makes his living on the hill. But I thought you made a great point there about how it didn't bother him at all to nail Tatis there. I mean, and then it brings up the point. And the statute of limitations is long past on this for you. Man, did you ever hit a guy who owned you on purpose to set up that situation? No, you can say now. Come on.
Okay. Yeah. Probably.
Probably.
Okay. I mean, it's been a long time here, Mr. O.B.
Pedro on the charge, slings it over. A diving effort that time by Cedeno, but he is out. I just don't see the wisdom in that. And risking injury, but here's the play.
That's a nice play by Vidro. And then you're talking about the wisdom of the slide at first base. Look at the fingers going into the bag. And you can't get there faster. I don't believe, and it's not a good play. You got a chance to be out for 2 months. No head first slides. No. Go there with your feet right on top of the bag. It's going to be an interesting at bat right here. Timo Perez gets another couple of base hits. You can't take him out of the lineup.
Well, 2 hits last night, a double in his first at bat here today, and he just keeps on swinging it. They're underway in Florida on our Lexus scoreboard. Also in Cincinnati. Here it is 1-0 the Mets, and Timo Perez scored that run. Fouls that one off to the right side.
You asked me about hitting somebody. Look at the continuation of the American League scores. I did hit somebody with 3 balls and no strikes one time. It wasn't to set up a double play.
Someone you weren't terribly fond of?
Well, I don't think it was a mutual love affair there, and I didn't want to base on balls, so I hit him right in the ribs. I mean, that's, and said, oops, sorry. Go to first base.
I thought the intentional drillings were supposed to be below the belt, down around, the thighs and the.
Now we go for the ribs, 3rd and 4th. It's like carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges. Okay.
It's ball 4 to Timo Perez.
Write it down in your book. How many times do you see Timo Perez take so many pitches? I mean, that was a much different at bat for Timo Perez. Usually he will, it or shall not pass. He'll swing at it underneath his feet. That ball that hit him last night, he was almost going for it. The ball would have hit him right in the left shoulder. He went up there that time, said, well, I'm going to be nice and patient here and get myself a base on ball. So he's been on base twice, 2 for 2.
Looks like he wants to be the leadoff man of the New York Mets. Here's Roberto Alomar, an RBI single in the first inning. Last night, a real nice moment for Robbie. He scored career run number 1,417. And in the process, he passed Roberto Clemente, a legend, of course, here in Puerto Rico, scoring the most runs ever by a native of this country. Got a big ovation from the crowd. Clemente's number 21 is on the right field fence here. Alomar takes outside. I mean, anytime Roberto Clemente's name is mentioned, and oftentimes it is whispered given the tragic death of that great outfielder, everybody's eyes lights up here in Puerto Rico. He is a beloved figure. Day's pitch outside again. 2-0. We talked about it last night. There's no denying Roberto is in a comfort zone here at home with his mom Maria and his family watching him play. Getting a chance to see him driving just 45 minutes to reach this ballpark, and that's a rare treat for him. He certainly looks relaxed in the batter's box. 3-0. And maybe this is what he needs to finally get things going and show Met fans the Roberto Alomar the previous 3 years before he became a Met, when he averaged .323 over that span, 21 homers and 103 RBIs. That would be an average year the previous 3 seasons. Taking all the way, it's 3-1.
Well, it's one of those really gifted players that can beat you so many ways. He can beat you with speed. He can beat you with a bunt. He can beat you with power. He can beat you with his glove. He can beat you with his head. He can great mental plays as well. He can hit the ball the other way. He can just do so many things well. There's an example right there. Getting the base on balls, keep the inning going.
We talked about Roberto Clemente. Roberto Alomar has been talking about him all his life. He felt his presence, he said, in the ballpark last night.
I feel like he's been with me not only today, but it's been with me in a lot of the times. Having the same name and knowing his family, I feel the presence, and to me it's a real special day to break his record today.
He was one of the most proud athletes I've ever seen on, doesn't make any difference what field, basketball, football, baseball, golf, doesn't make any difference. Roberto Clemente was a very, very special individual. There's his son doing the game today in Espanol. And he got a chance to talk to Roberto Clemente Jr. for 10 minutes or so today. Number 21. Boy, when I came to the big leagues, they said keep that ball away from him out there, and sliders and hard stuff away, and he kept rattling them doubles in the right center field alley.
Here's Mike Piazza. Mike overdue. He is 0 for 1 today, and in an 0 for 16 spin at the moment. Grounded out to third in the first inning. 0 for 1.
Mike Robinson has been throwing Mike Piazza lots of off-speed stuff. See Timo at second and Alomar at first. Mike Robinson knows that Piazza a good fastball hitter, and his pitchers have been offering Piazza a nice steady diet of breaking balls and off-speed pitches. There's another one.
Cut on and missed. 0-2.
Another old theory. He said, well, you can hit a fastball. Let's see if he can hit this pitch. See if he can hit a breaking ball. Can he hit a changeup? Can he hit the curveball, slow curveball? And you keep doing that till he proves he can do it. Mike's swings are certainly not comfortable. You can tell by the way he's going after the ball, and his finish is not balanced at all. And obviously he's unhappy the way things are going for him.
0-2 pitch, just got a piece of it to hang in there. Have you ever seen him as frustrated as he was last night?
I don't think I ever have. This is a pretty good pitch. Now this might help right here. That's pretty good pitcher's pitch, and Mike got that's a decent swing, enough to keep himself alive. Another mark of an outstanding hitter and a good hitter is to keep yourself alive, to get a pitch that you can hit and drive. He really hasn't had one in this at bat, and he knows that he's getting a lot of breaking balls. The fastballs that he sees, and you look at the two hitting coaches, that's Chambliss. There's Chambliss right there, Denny Walling in the shot before. And if he does see a fastball, my guess it'll be off the plate inside and out of the strike zone.
Cut on and miss. Mike Piazza goes down with a runner at second base.
And that was not a fastball. That was a hanging slider way out of the strike zone.
The E arrived a little late, and so he's out of the money. But they're trying here in San Juan, where the Mets are very big.
Is that school break that these kids are on here?
Some Stanford kids here.
Are they you know where I'm going with this one. We're going to the spelling bee. Here we are. Forgot to take spelling.
Yep.
It's only 4 letters, and it is a plural.
Well, that's the tricky one.
Plural? What's that?
Yeah, get into the plurals. Zach Day 0 for 4 on the year, leading things off 1-0. The Mets have the lead so far. That first inning score has held up. Now Leiter pitching out of his second inning jam. Bases loaded, 1 out. Got out of it with a double play ball.
I saw something in between innings there that you don't see very often.
Alomar with a scoop flips it on, and that's now Tony Clark at first base.
Al Leiter took all his warm-ups, finished his warm-ups. The ball went down to second around the infield, back to Al. There's Clark at first. And then he threw the ball out. He took all his warm-up pitches and then wanted a new baseball. You don't see that very often.
No, what would the reason be?
I don't know. He must have felt something, or finally was something rubbed him finger the wrong way or whatever. You don't see it, but you think of a pitcher if you're going to throw 7 or 8 warm-up pitches that you'd know by, in those 7 or 8 that no, this ball is not going to be any good.
Sure.
Oh, he threw 7 right, went around the infield, and threw it back into him and said, oh, I don't like this.
One away facing Andy Chavez, who's 0 for 1 with a ground ball to third. He bluffed the bunt, took a strike. Now Tony Clark in at first base. Mo Vaughn is out. We feel like broken records saying this because we did so often last night, but we'll get you an update as soon as we can on the situation of Mo Vaughn. Remember, he did make that diving stop in foul ground. You wonder if that shook him up at all.
Heat. I'm going Heat. One of the things now, this ballpark and especially this clubhouse is, I think it's great for these players. It gives them a little flashback of what the minor leagues was like.
Fly ball sending Perez back, makes the catch, lunging out to haul it in. Nice running play by Timo Perez, and they're 2 away.
Good play by Timo in left field, and timed it perfectly. Take a look at it, normal speed, fastball away, good swing by Chavez, and nice jump by Timo. He timed it exactly right. We're talking about today, hot day here in San Juan, and it's good for these players. I mean, these guys make a lot of money, and forget where they, if they forgot where they came from. It's great to see. You go in the clubhouse, what it was like in the minor leagues. That's the temperature on the field, 91. And 135 on the field. The temperature, not ambient temperature, but the temperature in the ballpark. And then what it is like on that field. And it doesn't feel that hot today. I mean, it's hot, but it's not summer hot with the breeze that seems to be blowing. But that ball, the clubhouse in there is like a minor league AAA ballpark.
You say it's not that hot. For us, it's not. But on the field, 135 is 135.
Billy Webb's trying to sell this. You know that.
It's sizzling.
No, I'm not buying that. This is looking at this stuff through a long-range lens. You know what I mean?
Hauled in by Wigginton. Low throw, and he commits his first error of the year. Clark has to go and fetch it, and Vidro is into second. Leiter should be out of the inning. A poor throw by Ty Wigginton, who otherwise had been perfect defensively.
Well, again, he got the ball at plenty of time and just fired it in the dirt. Tony Clark can't come up with it. And again, the Mets, another bad defensive play, and you can throw a blanket over this ball club, and they have not played well defensively.
11 errors now in 12 games, and here's Vladimir Guerrero. So worse, you allow Guerrero to bat with a man in scoring position. If you have to face him, and eventually you have to, but if you have to, you'd rather with nobody on base. He was 2 for 4 last night. 0 for 1 with a ground ball to short. Leiter's going to take a lot of time here. Vladimir trying to wait him out. I think that's the way to start Vladimir Guerrero. He homered 10 times last year on the first pitch he saw in an at-bat. It's a wonder it's taken so long. Guerrero in the league several years for pitchers to figure it out. And don't throw him a fat one on the first pitch. He's going to hack away. He's going to hurt you. 2-0.
Well, he's an undisciplined hitter, and the Expos really not trying to do anything about it because he will hit balls that are out of the strike zone, out of the ballpark. You can throw him inside. He's very quick inside. He has very long arms. You throw him up and out over the plate. He covers the outside part of the plate.
He also covers the inside part of the plate. That one a rip but foul. I saw him hit a home run off of A.J. Burnett a couple of years ago. Burnett jammed him inside with a fastball. Guerrero broke his bat and still hit it out. Not only did he hit it out of the park, he pulled it down the left field line, which is just ridiculous. And as Guerrero was stifling a laugh rounding the bases, so was A.J. Burnett on the mound. They couldn't contain themselves. It was just so absurd. That one up and in. A little message there from Al Leiter, 3-1.
Well, that's the cutter, and that's where you want to get the out. If you're Al Leiter, you want that ball to cut in and hit right above the fingers of Vladimir Guerrero. How about that stance? Woo, there's my back.
Vidro at second after the throwing error. 2 men out. He let it go for ball 4. So perhaps another case where Leiter doesn't really mind putting a man on base. But it's first and second in front of Will Cordero.
Now, you might not mind that walk in that situation because you set up the double play.
Cordero with a single in the second inning. Right now the Montreal Expos, a first place team at 7-4. And they're finding these digs here at San Juan very much to their liking. They're unbeaten here in Puerto Rico, 2-0. And this series against the Mets started off a 10-game homestand for them. Atlanta and Cincinnati are coming in next. We'll see if it's 135 on the field for them. Cordero takes a strike. The Expos' two best hitters, Vidro and Guerrero, are on the bases. One drifted just outside. We talked about Al Leiter getting off to a quick start again at 2-0. He did that last April as well. He was 3-1 at the end of the month with an ERA of 0.92. So he's making a habit of this. He's in front now, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Pitcher like Al Leiter will not give you too many pitches to hit, and Cordero had one right there. He missed it.
Look at that camera angle right there, and it looks like we're still at Port St. Lucie or somewhere in spring training, the Grapefruit League, doesn't it?
Not far away. Directly east, huh? Or almost directly east. Beautiful ocean down here, beautiful Caribbean Sea. They did a nice job getting this ballpark ready.
2-2 is up top. So he's going all the way here with Cordero with 2 out and a full count. Vidro and Guerrero can get a head start. Leiter hasn't struck anybody out yet today. Just a piece for Cordero. He almost had him there. You're talking about Leiter pitching well in April. You go back to last April 30th when he defeated Arizona. He became the first man in Major League history to beat all 30 Major League teams. Well, today he's pitching in a ballpark he's never pitched in before.
You've got to be good and old to do that.
Yeah. Now 37, I guess, qualifies in baseball terms.
That's the crusty old veteran. Now Leiter in his 6th year with the Mets. And he's averaged about 14 wins per year for them. Very solid pitcher. Talked about it before in the opening about Tom Glavine coming over from the Atlanta Braves, and Leiter, both of them you could consider guys you can count on to stop losing streaks. There is career totals, very good, 3.6 earned run average over his starts in the big leagues.
3-2 runners go, and it's outside for ball 4. Leiter. You see him bending at the waist there, really wanted to pitch. Paul Emmel said no.
Sometimes you make a pitch that is too good, and Cordero was looking for the pitch on the inside, and that pitch just off the plate. That's a pitch a guy like Al Leiter thinks he's going to get. It's going to bring out Vern Rule to talk to Al Leiter. He just missed on that pitch. You got first 2 outs in this inning. You got Day, the pitcher, to ground out, and then the fly ball to left field. Timo made a nice running catch on, then the air at third base, and kept this inning alive. This may be just more for a breather than anything else. I mean, we talked about the heat, the temperature, the humidity, etc., to give Al, who is 37 years old, just to give him a breather, know exactly what you want to do in this situation. You see Al so far, and we are just in the 3rd inning, so 54 pitches, and the pitcher will average about, if things are going according to Hoyle, on an average 14.5, 15 pitches per inning. So he's closing in on 20 per inning, and a lot of them come because of the air on the ball to third base by Wigginton, on the ball hit by Vidro. Been a bunch of them here, 3 walks in a row.
Yep, and a veteran guy on a hot day forced to throw more pitches when he should be out of the frame. Here's Cabrera. He doubled in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 1. So the Expos have him loaded up. An error and 2 walks. And Cabrera can be a dangerous hitter. Fly down the left field line. Timo Perez along the foul line makes the catch. Which 3 Puerto Rican born players have the most hits? We were talking with Roberto Alomar about the greats who have come from this country just yesterday, in fact, and he can rattle them off the top of his head and give you quite a list, and an impressive list.
The interesting thing he talked about with the lack of pitchers that he could come up with.
Yep.
And there were some, but there were nothing like the Marichals or any big name. Like if you had a Clemente, number 21, who was a great hitter, you couldn't come up with a corresponding great pitcher from the Puerto Rican area. It was interesting too, but I said, well, why is that? And he said, well, everybody seemed to want to follow the great hitters, want to follow the Roberto Clementes. So he was such a great hitter that we all love to hit.
I mean, when you're born in Puerto Rico and you're born Roberto to begin with, after Clemente, as we look at his numbers, he will migrate toward the batter's box. 328 in the 60s. That led the majors. Base hit for Clark. Tony Clark goes the other way. Still have not heard what's up with Mo Vaughn. Tom Seaver thinks it might be the heat, and the fact that it's 135 degrees on the diamond, the artificial surface here. He had to leave the ball game after the first couple of innings. So Clark responds with a single, and here's Ty Wigginton. Ty would love to make up for his error. In the end, Al Leiter, very savvy, pitched around it, got a fly ball to end the inning. So twice they've loaded the bases against Leiter, and Montreal hasn't scored. But it was Wigginton's error that kept that inning alive and forced Leiter to pitch to 3 more hitters.
Jay Horowitz must be listening to our broadcast. He just came by and whispered in my ear that Mo Vaughn, inflammation of the left knee, and it was in fact on that dive at first base, which aggravated it. Nice to know that Jay is listening into us. Huh?
He's the best.
I heard you mention that. Popped right over here.
At lightning speed, a high fly ball left center field, but not deep enough. Chavez calling off Wilkerson. 1 away. We might as well just hit it on the surface today.
You noticed that, didn't you? That ball got up there, it just absolutely died.
Burnett's 0 for 1. He's tapped out to second base. The Mets lead it 1-0. Will that be enough today? Seems to be a good day to pitch with the trade winds coming in from center field. You hear trade winds, you think of Pirates, you think of Blackbeard, you think of buried treasure and gold. What are you doing later after the game?
Huh? I get traded again? You telling me, is that it or what?
Oh,
that's what I think of.
Go dig
right?
something up.
You think of gold and bullion and
yeah, thinking of ho 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 and a bottle of rum. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Zach Day pitching and hits the outside corner. Well, the Montreal staff doesn't give up many home runs to begin with, so trade wins or not, they keep the ball in the ballpark. They've allowed just 3 home runs the entire season. Clark at first base, 1 out. Burnitz keeps on repeating his mantra going back to the early days of spring training when he tried to get rid of some bad habits he got into last year. And what was for him a horrible season. Just hit strikes, keep his balance. Ground ball sharply in front of it. Vidro bobbled. Cabrera on to first, got it. Double play. And what are we looking at here? El Presidente?
No, it says Elvis Presley right there. Elvis Presley is not Bill Webb.
Bill Webb is our director extraordinaire.
He is director extraordinaire.
And down here we have to refer to him as El Presidente. It's in his contract. Any games in San Juan, he is El Presidente. Wilkerson leading off against Leiter. In the home half of the 4th inning, good breaking ball swatted right through. Wilkerson is 0 for 1. 25-year-old from Kentucky, so he's a long way from home. This is a young Expo team anyway. The average age of the roster is just 26. Only Joey Eishen and Will Cordero are in their 30s on the entire roster.
Interesting to talk to Omar Minaya, of course, who went to run the Expos in the general manager basis after being an assistant to Steve Phillips, general manager of the Mets. And what is going to happen to this club? Frank Robinson to manage it. Where are they going to end up? They can end up maybe here playing here part of their season next year. Are they going to be in Virginia, Washington D.C. or the Carolinas? And Omar didn't know. And it seemed as if he was given a straight scoop, and he probably doesn't know. I mean, it's going to be a big decision if they do go in the Washington D.C. area. Peter Angelos is going to want some sort of compensation.
You would think, and where are they going to play? Are they going to play at RFK,
sure,
renovate it as much as they can, and build a new ballpark? It's an awfully tough economical climate to try and get a ballpark built anywhere. Fly ball left center. But the wind will slice it down some, and Cedeno has it for the first out in the bottom of the fourth. I mean, Portland, Oregon is another potential site to move the Montreal Expos. As we look at the Dodge trivia question, and we'll give you the answer here as well. Which three players from Puerto Rico have the most hits?
I think I can come up with two. And Cepeda, missed that. You know, we've got to think of 3,000 Roberto Clemente, who we got 3,000 off of John Matlack, and Alomar, who scored the run last night, and Orlando Cepeda, the baby bull. How about that San Francisco Giant team? Back in the days of Cepeda, they had 5 Hall of Famers on that team. Gaylord Perry, Juan Marichal, Mays McCovey, and Orlando Cepeda. 5 Hall of Famers.
Did that get Tatis? Did. He was hit by the pitch for the second time.
You know what the Dodgers had? Sandy Koufax.
Another guy you were chatting with earlier today at breakfast. Here's a look at that pitch.
Eric back another cutter, and that's Al Leiter's bread and butter. And just nicked him on the back of that elbow.
Quite a sight, by the way. You and Sandy Koufax engaged in conversation. A couple of us wanted to be a fly on the wall. He's in fantastic shape.
Great shape. We're talking about grapes.
Talking about grapes.
Grapevines, more specifically. Interesting conversation.
I guess. I was hoping for something a lot more dramatic.
No,
than that, Tom.
No. Been there, done that.
Yeah, both of you. all the way to Cooperstown. Talking about Koufax and the shape he's in. There's a great story where years after he had retired, I mean like 5-6 seasons later, and we'll get to that in a minute as Alomar feeds Bell for one and on to first for the double play. Sandy Koufax has been here in San Juan and taking in the ball games in the brilliant sunshine. Jay Bell 0 for 1 will start the 5th inning against Zach Day, the sinker baller who has been very sharp. In the first inning, he gave up a double to Timo Perez, and then seconds later, an RBI single by Roberto Alomar that almost took Day with it into center field. It was hit right behind his head, and that run is held up so far. Al Leiter will follow, then Roger Cedeno. We're talking about Sandy Koufax. Al Leiter from time to time has had instruction from Sandy, who's been kind enough to lend his time not only to the Dodgers over the last several years, but also to any lefty or righty who seeks his confidence. Big swing and off balance cut by Bell. Foul tipped it into the mitt.
We've looked for Sandy here in the ballpark today and have not been able to spot him. I think I know where Mr. Koufax is.
You think he might be getting some sun down on the beach?
Right there by that pool or by the beach, one of the two.
And carpet roller on to first, and Bell is gone. Sandy Koufax, one of the many great stories about him I remember hearing years after he had retired, maybe 5 or 6 years afterwards. Tommy Lasorda was managing the Dodgers at the time, and they were in the playoffs, and they're about to face a hard throwing left-hander in the postseason. I forget who the pitcher was. But they wanted someone to simulate in batting practice a guy who could bring it left-handed, and so they asked Sandy Koufax. Again, he was out of the game for several years. He reluctantly agreed to throw BP, but being the competitor that he is, he got on the mound during batting practice, and the juices started flowing, and the sweat started flowing, and the fastball started humming. And in BP, he's getting it up there to 90, 91, 92. He is blowing it by the Dodger hitters in batting practice. They can't catch up. They can't touch him. Finally, someone has to go to the mound. Might have been Lasorda and said, Sandy, you're embarrassing our hitters. Sandy Koufax was, by then, by baseball standards, an old man. He just dropped the glove and walked off the mound. Now Leiter grounds out. Made contact that time. He is 0 for 2.
That sounds like a Tommy Lasorda story.
One of many.
Of which there is not one figment of truth in the entire thing.
Oh, that is true.
It sounds like like Lasorda.
Yeah.
Taking the microphone and says, "I've got this. I'll take this one for the next 30 minutes."
He's entertaining, though.
Yeah, he's very entertaining. Don't look for the truth. It makes for a great story.
Good theater, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, but that one is true. Tommy told me that one is true. Said you can believe it.
So that's 2 lies and 1
He's a terrific banquet speaker, though. If you've never
he's great.
Never heard Lasorda, he's marvelous, and he'll fly on a whim across country to do a little league banquet or a high school banquet or an American Legion thing. Cedeno 0 for 2. He's grounded to short and second. Zach Day trying to make quick work of the Mets here in the 5th. New York ahead though 1-0, looking to break a 4-game skid. Keep it cool downstairs. This guy hasn't come anywhere near the booth. I mean, you've got a lot of pull here, Tom.
That's why I walk out and go right behind us and get myself another bottle of water. And next time I go, I'll bring you one too.
That's very kind of you. I'm parched.
It doesn't seem to me like it's hot as it was last night. That's simply because of the breeze coming in.
You're right. Fastball off the corner. Day can throw that fastball in the low 90s. It's a good sinking fastball. We talked to Omar Minaya, the GM of the Expos, at breakfast today, and he said it's a Kevin Brown kind of a sinker. I don't know if we've seen that today, but he does get a ground ball here. But the Mets have the 1 run. Zach Day leading off against Al Leiter. Good to have you with us on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in the Caribbean. From San Juan, the Mets trying to grab a win in this series. 1 more left to play here in Puerto Rico. An unusual start time tomorrow, 4:45. Steve Traxel against Javier Vasquez, who struck out 14 in his last start. This is a really fine young pitching staff. Little dribbler out to Alomar. 1 away. Again, Tony Clark there at first base. Alomar at second. It's Bell and Wigginton on the left side. Mike Piazza doing the catching. Cedeno in center. Burnitz in right. And Timo Perez in left. And with a man out, here's the former Met farmhand Andy Chavez, who's gone 0 for 2. Chavez, who's had a very good series, 4 hits so far. And 3 hits last Sunday against the Mets. This is a guy who has really bought into the idea of using his speed as a weapon. Of the 25 outs that he has made this season, 21 of them have been on the ground. And when you can get through to a young leadoff hitter like this, the concept of hit it on the ground and run, let your speed do it. You see what he's done the last 5 games. You know it is really getting through to him. That's one of the reasons coaches love him in Montreal. Big swing and a miss. It does have kind of a sweeping cut, though, doesn't it?
He's got an amazing long swing. He's down to the end of the bat, big leg kick and a long swing. And I've continued to look at him and say, I've got to change this swing, choke him up, and put him in contact. But you know what? The little guy, he makes contact. And he doesn't have a contact swing. He isn't compact either. But that's one of the enigmas of watching this young man play. You say, well, his swing is too big, it's too violent, it's not controlled, etc. But he does make contact.
Well, not this time, as he went out of the strike zone. And Leiter fans him. First strikeout of the ball game for Al.
My fastball way up above the top of the strike zone. That is strictly a matter of discipline right there. That ball is a foot out of the strike zone.
Jose Vidro coming up to bat. His mom, Daisy, had never seen him play in a major league game in person until Friday. He said, I was more nervous Friday night than in my first game in the big leagues. Well, he didn't show it. He went 3 for 4 and he hit a home run. And he said he fought back tears while rounding the bases. Roberto Alomar said the ovation that he heard on Friday night was the #1 moment of his career as he was celebrated by the fans here in San Juan. Both of them grew up pretty close to this city. Roberto's mom, Maria, we spoke to her at the beginning of this series. A lovely lady, pretty much a baseball widow, of course, with her husband, Sandy Alomar Sr., and Robbie's brother, Sandy Alomar Jr., involved in baseball all their lives, and of course traveling and playing the big leagues in the States. Roberto, the brightest star of the family. Today he has been on base each time with an RBI single and a walk. Vidro 0 for 2. Born less than an hour from San Juan. Switch hitter in his career. He's handled Leiter pretty well at .333. Knocks that one foul. We went to Roberto's home. Again, close to San Juan. You look at all the trophies, the Gold Gloves, and not only a lot of his important mementos, but that of the brother and the father too. A major league household. Salinas, Puerto Rico, the name of the town. And Robbie and his family really became legends here in Puerto Rico, and they are beloved. A true passion, true emotion when Alomar does anything on the diamond throughout this weekend. And you see not only from the fans but from Robbie too. Base is empty, 2 out. Leiter looking for back-to-back strikeouts. A protective swing there by Vidro.
Talking about how things come full circle. Alomar rocks here in Puerto Rican. In Puerto Rico, I played my first year in the big leagues, 1967, and Roberto Alomar's dad, Sandy Alomar, was on that ball club. I may have seen that gentleman right there when he was Nino. Still in diapers, running around like that little kid on the beach today.
There's a visual for you. Tap foul. 2-2. Now Leiter looking to improve to 8-5 against Montreal. A .423 lifetime ERA. He kicks and delivers. Outside Piazza held it there for an extra second.
That's the pitch that Leiter worked on this spring training. A little two-seamer away, not the cutter into the right-hander, but that ball just stays out on that outside corner. And the pitch that he worked on both sides of the plate.
Vidro looked like he went. The appeal, he did not, according to Joe West. Boy, it looked from here as if he committed. Let's watch again.
Well, you certainly want it if you're the pitcher or the pitching coach. Did that bat come across the front plane? Is he strong enough? Now that's 25-year veteran right there saying no, he did not. And Joe West said no, he did not swing. Vern Rule would take exception to that, I would presume, and so would Mr. Baylor on the left there.
It's a terrific at bat for Vidro, but from this angle it looked like he went. Of course, it now gets Guerrero up there again. Breaks his bat, bloops to Alomar. That bat came apart in 2 big pieces. Back for the top half of the 6th inning, the Mets will step in, and Timo Perez, who has doubled and walked, will lead things off against Zach Day. The 6'4", 210-pound right-hander. He's 24 years old, making his first career start against the Mets. Well, they brought him up last year. The former Yankee and Cleveland Indians farmhand made his major league debut. Softly rolled. Day beats it to the base for the out. 1 down. Alomar once again being introduced to lots of applause. He has had a good day inside the batter's box. An RBI single and a walk so far. And from this side of the plate, hitting well over 300 as a right-hand batter, just 1 for 13 so far. We certainly want to thank Roberto's mom, Maria, so kind to allow our cameras into the home and to speak with her. She was a delightful lady. She and Roberto are very, very close. It's a deeply religious family. Roberto slices that one down the left field line, but that'll be foul. And for years, all through his All-Star seasons, Roberto would head home to Salinas, and he would pray every New Year's Eve for the season to come, to have a great year. And obviously it worked a lot. Well, his first year with the Mets, for whatever reason, he skipped that practice. He did not go and pray in Salinas on the New Year's before his first season as a Met. Well, you know what he did this past New Year?
I can take a wild guess. I bet you I get it if you give me 3 shots at it.
Here's a base hit the other way. Roberto Alomar, great to be home. He's 2 for 2 today. He had 2 hits last night.
Robbie Alomar on base 3 times here in the ball game. A couple of singles in, a walk in the 3rd inning. Outstanding offensive player. Make contact, put it in play. He had a bullet in the 1st inning. He had an RBI single, went right up the middle, and that one just hitting it the other way, right in the hole between Tatis and Cabrera. Hit very sharply. This is the question mark at the plate the Mets would like to find the answer to right here. This is the guy that over the long haul is going to make the Met offense run. And when he is swinging the bat well, he helps everybody in the lineup.
Isn't that an incredible statement, though, to be saying about Mike Piazza? This is the guy who's the question mark, and it is true.
One of the question marks, yes. Would he be in that category? You'd say no. There's no way.
Well, 0 for 2 today, 0 for 5 last night. He's in an 0 for 17 skid, 1 for 18 on the trip. Yeah, that's a big question mark so far for 2 weeks into the season, and without a home run or an RBI. The middle of April. Now, granted, he missed 4 games with the suspension, but still, we're talking about Mike Piazza. Mike, by the way, has always been a great turf hitter. 354 lifetime on artificial turf, which is what we're playing on here, and that's the highest turf average of any active player in the majors. That's inside. Piazza able to check. 3-0.
Interesting situation right here for Art Howe. What are you going to do with Mike Piazza? 3 balls, no strikes at the plate. Do you think he's disciplined enough to just let him sit on 1 pitch? If he gets it, go ahead and swing the bat? He does not, and ball 4.
So Mike trundles off to first base. Howe playing it conservatively with Alomar up to second. The batter will be Tony Clark. And Randy St. Clair comes out of the Montreal Expos dugout along the first base side. By the way, good news today on Pedro Estacio. Pitching in Florida at St. Lucie. He went 5 innings, allowed 3 hits, no runs. He threw 71 pitches as he tries to work through that tendonitis and the shoulder problems. He'll pitch again on Friday, but he's had a couple of very nice outings. 2 on for the Mets and nobody out. Activity in the Montreal Expos bullpen. They have a right-hander now loosening, and Tony Clark is 1 for 1 today. Move on a diving stop of what turned out to be a foul ball at first base. Banged his knee on the hard turf and left the ball game. That one off of Barrett. The runners are going to try and move up. They will without a throw. Alomar into third. Piazza into second. That's one that looked like Barrett should have handled.
Well, I got a glove on it, and maybe he was checking the runners. The ball back over to his right. It looked like he just took his eye off of the ball. That's second help that the wild pitch and or pass ball has been able to help the Mets here. They move the runners up to second and third with nobody out. Excuse me. With 1 out. Well, that's a huge play right there.
Infield in for Montreal here. Alomar, the runner at third, so a fly ball of any depth should bring that run in and make it 2-0. But if you're Clark, you're thinking 2 RBIs here probably. There's a chance with a single. It is Piazza at second. It's TJ Tucker in the bullpen. Outside. So the Clark count right now is 2 balls and no strikes, as you see Wigginton up next.
Interesting situation for Frank Robinson with 1 out, runners at second and third, first base open. And Clark, you pitch around him, walk Clark to load the bases, and then pitch to the hottest hitter in the ball club, and Ty Wigginton.
Big swing and a miss by Clark. A pretty good pitch by Day there.
Yep, his decision obviously no. If you're going to cannot go around somebody and try to get to the hottest bat in the lineup, and that certainly does belong to Wigginton right now. The thing about this, that Clark singled his first time up when he came in for Mo Vaughn. A sharp single to left field.
The righty delivers a chopper. The runner trying to score. Here comes Alomar. The throw home. Did he get in? The tag hasn't been applied yet, and it's dropped. No, he did get him. He's out. And now they're going to send him back. They're going to send Piazza back to second base.
The ball Alomar may have knocked the ball out of his hands.
Yep.
The call by the home plate umpire, Paul Emmel. And Alomar trying to get away from the catcher, Michael Barrett, may have knocked the ball out of his hands. Here you see the little chopper to the second baseman, Jose Vidro, comes home. And the catcher blocking the plate. Alomar sliding around it. Now the catcher's going to try and run him down. The umpire immediately saying, no, you're out. And it looked like as if Alomar may have knocked the ball out of his hand. That's exactly what did happen. Yep, good call. And right on top of the plate, good umpiring. And you get Piazza back at second base. There you see Mike, the ground ball to second base, and then all of a sudden the play at home and backing away from the catcher. You end up at third base. Not going to be allowed.
So the Mets played contact there, and Alomar is cut down at home plate. Piazza at second. Clark becomes a runner at first.
It's a 2-shot foul right there. Did you see that?
It's kind of nifty.
I know, I like it. I don't think I've seen that very often.
Now he actually backpedaled right through the logo behind home plate, so we didn't even see the hand at first from our angle. The replay picked it up. Wigginton swings. He missed it entirely. Now the runners will move up again as that bounces all the way to the backstop. So Piazza finally gets to third base. Clark to second with 2 out.
Well, in that case of the splitter, we saw the exact same pitch in the first inning. So the third time the Mets have caught a break. Compliments of the defense of the pitcher and the catcher. Here Piazza sees the wild pitch, and that one hit the dirt and probably will be scored a wild pitch again, I would presume.
And the Mets have just been abysmal with men in scoring position throughout this 4-game road trip, hitting .083 as a team. It does not get worse than that, but that number has to change eventually. And Ty Wigginton figures it might as well be now. He's grounded out and flied out today. Art Howe will tell you he has been the one consistent bat in the lineup from opening day on. A little late on that swing. 1-2.
Wigginton got some off-speed pitches early in the count, early in this game. His first couple of at-bats, and late on that fastball, that looked like a sinking fastball. Perfect location, down and away.
They lead at second and third. Cut on and missed. He struck him out. Wigginton fans, 2 men left. I went to the concession stand to buy myself a plantain, and all I got was this lousy hot dog. That's what he'll tell you.
They had some of the Tostanos right behind us. There is like a little commissary back there, and they serve some of the press and some of the VIPs on this level. A couple of the guest boxes, I guess, with the VIPs in front office of the Mets, in front office of the Montreal Expos.
They look delicious.
They do. They didn't deliver any to us, but they look delicious.
Haven't seen one yet, so we're begging right now. Game is being televised here in San Juan, and inside the ballpark, I'm sure they know very well. I think we're going to get a little refreshment on the way. I had no idea you were a food connoisseur as well. I know you're a tremendous wine connoisseur, but I had no idea you knew so much about the cuisine. Another no swing there. I think Mr. West is going to punch anybody out today. He's enjoying the 91-degree weather more than Al Leiter.
I got a lot of help from my boys in the truck on that one. I've got to fess up. Tostanes.
Oh, they look great. So do the hot dog.
That's hot dog. You know what they call them here in Puerto Rico?
What's that?
Hot dogs.
How about popcorn? Cordero with a single and a walk, and now he's walking again. He takes ball forward. Tom Seaver, Dave O'Brien, great to have you with us on a hot and balmy Sunday afternoon in the Caribbean. This is a home game for the Montreal Expos. One of the 22 they'll play here throughout the rest of the spring and summer. And they're drawing a lot better here in San Juan than they do most nights in Olympic Stadium, cavernous old Olympic Stadium up in Montreal, Canada. Leiter from the set. Orlando Cabrera, the hitter, has doubled and flied out, 1 for 2. Toss over again. Leiter's command today has been a little bit hot and cold. He has hit 2 batters. In fact, it was the same guy twice, Fernando Tatis. And he's walked 4 men. But he's also allowed just a couple of hits. And those both came in the 2nd inning. And in trouble, he's pitched tremendously well when he's been in a bind, and twice they loaded the bases against him and did not score. He's been able to get out of it.
And the heat will be a factor today. It'll come this inning or maybe next inning, where both these pitchers in the afternoon game on the artificial surface. And after going to New York and being in the real cool weather, then coming down south, playing in Florida, and then playing here in San Juan. One of the things that Al Leiter has had benefited from today. That's, look at that pass, that last strike, is the double plays. And you can see the number that he has had behind him in that category, leading the National League.
Foul off to the right side.
Almost another one right there. But this heat is definitely going to be a factor. The Mets have been very cautious about getting their right innings pitched for their pitchers, not only in Florida but during the season. And the long inning after that one inning was extended after the air for Al. And he threw a lot of extra pitches.
We'll see if it catches up to him today. Outside for ball on Cabrera. So Leiter, who had just 14 double plays turned for him last year, already has half a dozen. Although he has been walking more than he usually does. He had walked 8 men in 12 2/3 innings coming into today, 4 more today.
Well, he should get a lot of double plays, ground balls on the left side too, with that cutter inside of the right hand hitters.
The pitch to Cabrera. Well, here comes another opportunity for 6-3. That's the 3rd double play to turn for Al Leiter today. And that came after a walk.
Well, this is absolutely the pitcher's best friend. 2 for the price of 1. And I mean, this is infield practice on a pitch that was out of the strike zone. Not really a good pitch, but sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. And now says, I'll take it.
So moving up, number 7. Half as many as all last year. Here's Brad Wilkerson, who's fly to center field 2 times. He indicates a bunt and takes a ball. The Mets with a 1-0 lead. Leiter has allowed just 2 hits. The Mets have 4. And New York today, with the offense certainly depleted, with Cliff Floyd out of the lineup because of that strained Achilles, listed as day-to-day. He's been wearing orthopedics in his shoes and had some problems off and on. There's a pitch count.
Yep, closing in on 100, 97, 98. Good high fastball, still throwing well. But you come out of spring training and you know if you can get to 6 innings coming out of spring training, then look at that high fastball. Still has some giddy up on it.
2-1 pitch. That's in there for a strike. Wilkerson had bailed on it thinking it was high. You still see that every once in a while with the strike zone.
Yep, take a look at it again and he's actually trying to politic that into a ball. Doesn't want it to be called a strike. And the thing is, because the left-handed hitters will look for that fastball away from him, that cutter out over the plate.
Alomar with a backhand goes airborne, but threw off target and safe at first. Brad Wilkerson. So Wilkerson aboard with a hit.
Well, this is one of the prettiest plays in baseball if it can be made. Almost acrobatic to the nth degree. And look at this. Just if the throw's on line, he beats it. And he'll get the runner. And just pulled off Tony Clark at first base. That is one of the most beautiful plays in all of the game of baseball. And almost pulled off by Robbie Alomar.
It's an infield single for Wilkerson. Brings up Fernando Tatis.
You have to be acrobatic to play those 2 middle infield spots.
We sure do.
Oh, man.
Alomar among the most balletic to ever play that position. And Tatis is wondering if he's going to get a strike to hit or if he's going to get hit again. He's already been drilled twice by Al Leiter. His first 2 plate appearances. The Mets up 1-0.
This is a big out for Al Leiter right here. Tatis has hit him well over his career. He's a guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. People starting to move around in the Met bullpen. You get at that 100 pitch mark. The pitching coach knows it. Certainly passes it along to the manager. Oh, there's a good cutter right there and totally fooled Tatis. Leiter is up 3rd next inning. On a day like today, you get 6 solid innings out of your starter. 37-year-old starter. You're probably going to take it. But this was the middle of the season, and I'm talking end of May, June, in the middle of May on June, July. And you figure that doesn't make any difference what your age is. You'll be able to pitch 9 innings. Of course, the game is played much differently now.
The runner goes and they haven't picked off, but it's a balk. And they're going to give him second base. Wilkerson will be awarded second on a balk by Al Leiter. Well, he had him.
No hesitation by Joe West, the umpire at first base. I think Al saw him take off and decided to throw over there. That's everybody called balk. Now watch Joe West, the home plate umpire. West goes out of our camera range. The runner at first base called balk. The home plate umpire called balk. That's a balk. No way. And I bet you Joe West called balk. Frank Robinson called it a balk.
Yep. That kid we saw in diapers at the beach today.
Yeah.
High fly ball to left field down into the corner. Foul. Perez giving chase out of range. But now you've got the tying run and scoring position because of that balk. Tatis without a home run. When he first broke into the big leagues with St. Louis several years ago, they thought they had a home run hitter who would get him 30, 35 a year, driving 100, 110 runs a year. They didn't care that much about the defense. They're putting up those kind of numbers. Staying healthy has been the battle for him. 2-2. A win today improves Al Leiter to 3-0 here in April. More importantly, it snaps a 4-game Met losing streak. Wide, and it's 3-2. Al's best year with the Mets was 1998. He went 17-6 with a minuscule 247 earned run average. Signed a 2-year contract extension in July. Swinging a line right, caught right at Wigginton's cap. Side retired. In the low 90s overall, and great to have you with us on this Sunday as the Mets look to end a 4-game skid. There's a new pitcher on the mound facing Jeremy Burnitz, and that's the right-hander T.J. Tucker as he makes his 4th appearance.
So on a hot day here in San Juan, it looks like both pitchers will be gone after 6 innings. Now Leiter is scheduled to be the 3rd hitter in this inning, and the bullpen started right away when the last inning was over.
Fly ball. Does this one have a chance? It is foul. Gone, but foul. Jeremy Burnitz pulled it just a little too much. Otherwise, he is rounding the bases with a big insurance run.
And the wind probably pushed that ball foul. We talked about the wind coming in from center field and probably did push it foul. Yes, Burnitz hooked it just slightly. It's shot of the U.S. flag, Puerto Rican flag, and the flag of Canada.
And indeed, we hear all 3 anthems before every game here in San Juan.
They were great today, too, weren't they?
Yeah. They've done a wonderful job with those anthems. I mean, you really can't mess up the Canadian national anthem. It's one of the prettiest. Our national anthem, tremendous. And the national anthem of Puerto Rico is fascinating to listen to, especially when it was done today.
Done beautifully.
All 7 verses.
Yes, it was. From beginning to end.
Burnitz flies that one to left center field, and a catch for Chavez. He's there to put it away. 1 gone. So he just missed on that foul home run. Jeremy is 0 for 3.
Jeremy was ready to fire that bat 100 yards if he could have thrown it that far. He missed the home run, popped the ball up that he felt he should have hit, and he was going to fire that bat back toward the dugout. He turned around, the catcher and the umpire and Jay Bell were standing there, and he very wisely obviously dropped it. We talk about the frustration of the guys in the middle of the lineup, the number of runners that they have left at third base, and we talked about one swing, one strike, boom, there it is, and oh boy, he is ready to fire that thing at anybody. Had a pitch I could handle, big strong right fielder with a good swing, and hit the bottom half of the ball. There's a couple of veterans right there, David Cone and Al Leiter, talking about it. Al Leiter looks like he's a little hot. Over 100 pitches. He will turn the ball over to the bullpen for the Mets.
David Weathers is warming up out there right now. Boy, it doesn't take long on a day like today to get ready. Shinjo in the on-deck circle is swinging a high fly ball to left field. That's going to push foul. Wilkerson trying to track it down, but that's off into that area off to the left side. Not a play.
Al Leiter loves to talk.
Yes.
He does.
Just about to say the same thing.
He does. He loves to talk. He loves to chat about this. What about that? Did you see this? Did you see that guy do this? What do you think about this?
Al Leiter, the kind of man you can engage in at the drop of a hat, a conversation on anything. It doesn't have to be baseball. In fact, oftentimes he'd rather not. We saw him at breakfast today. He was quiet for the first time on the whole trip. A blue foul on a play by Bell.
He was pitching.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Came in, had his coffee and his breakfast, his pregame meal.
So we saw Al at breakfast. We saw Omar Minaya, the general manager of the Expos. He came over to say hi to you, and so did Sandy Koufax. I loved your line to Omar about Vladimir Guerrero. When is your right fielder going to hit the cutoff man again? He said he just loves to show off that arm. He's got the cannon. Swing and a miss. Bell retired. 2 away in the 7th.
Jay Bell got to start at shortstop this afternoon here in San Juan, and was punched out a couple of times and grounded out to third. And that's a pretty good splitter that he the swing out there. That one just dived out of the strike zone.
So Shinjo to bat for the first time. He will hit for Al Leiter. So the left-hander's afternoon is officially over. And another strong outing by Al Leiter.
Great outing by Al. On a very, very hot, humid day here in San Juan.
Little trickler, swinging bunt. Tucker off the turf, throws him out.
Well, coming out of spring training, the Mets certainly thought that their bullpen was going to be one of their strengths, and it has proven to be the case. And David Weathers, the veteran right-hander, had great, absolutely perfect makeup for a short reliever. Give me the ball, give me my inning, and you're going to get what I've got. That's the best stuff you're going to get. And he will come right at you. Very aggressive. Has terrific confidence in himself. And gets to follow up a job well done by Al Leiter here this afternoon.
A bunt attempt, but right back to the hill. An easy play for Weathers. One quick out on one pitch. He gets Barrett. Now he'll face Callaway, the pinch hitter.
Well, if you're going to bunt on AstroTurf or artificial service, you better make it a perfect bunt. Right-hander against right-hander, trying to sneak in a single here in the number 8 spot in the lineup.
Well, let's give you a little bit of a feel now about what they're hearing down here in San Juan, and of course back home in New York. WADO radio, Spanish radio. Juan Alicea and Billy Baroa.
Viene de emergente por el pitcher Tucker.
Bueno, hay un out, Billy. Callaway, bateador zurdo.
Viene el lanzamiento y es pegado. Una bola sin strike para Callaway, bateando de emergente aquí en la parte de abajo del séptimo inning. Partido sumamente cerrado, 1-0 ganando los Metros.
Guárdese, un derecho que depende mucho de su slider, bola recta, y normalmente trabaja solamente una o dos entradas como más.
Así es. Bases limpias, outs, hay cantado, bola rápida. La cuenta ahora en 2 bolas, un strike para el emergente Callaway. Detrás batea Andy Chávez, el center fielder. Dominio casi absoluto de los lanzadores en el partido. La única carrera la permitió Zach Day. En el mismo primer episodio, de ahí en adelante todo el mundo estaba dominante.
Eso fue hace tiempo, Billy.
Sí.
Juan and Billy, thank you very much on WADO, Spanish radio, back to New York. They sound great. They sound like they're into it. Into every pitch. Callaway takes inside. He checks his swing.
A great inflection. They roll their R's on the certain words and stuff. Some of them I can understand. Some of them you can figure out if you had enough time.
I got bueno.
Yeah. Recta.
Ooh.
See.
Smooth there, senor. Ball 4. So Callaway is on, and Andy Chavez, the center fielder. And it's center fielder in Espanol as well, huh? Center fielder. I heard that, but I don't. No.
Got to be something different than that, isn't it?
I thought you knew the line.
No. I'm sticking to the old fastball curveball stuff.
Scott Stewart.
Uno, dos, tres, and that's it. That's good enough for me.
Well, we've had a wonderful visit. Not over yet for the Mets. They conclude this series tomorrow. The unusual start time of 4:45 to try and beat the Heat. Piazza came up as if to throw, but back to first move Callaway.
The great fake by Callaway at first base. He fooled me. One of the things that clubs will try to do certainly is to run on Mike Piazza. Look at the fake. That's as good as you get right there. Frank Robinson, you can see his fingerprints all over this ballpark, about all over this ball club, trying to get them to do the little things and make a club a winning ball club.
Ground ball hit hard. Alomar from his knees feeds the bag for the out. That's all they'll get. Callaway retired. Alomar made sure of that throw, and there are 2 gone.
Well, when you got a runner like Chavez coming from first base, coming from home to first base, you certainly want to get one. A good speed in Callaway. And it looked like Robbie Alomar may have caught his toe in the turf when he fell down. But enough composition to go ahead and get the leadoff run. That's the important thing. Get the 1 run, the 1 out in that situation.
Upcoming games now. We conclude the series tomorrow. Traxel on the mound against Vasquez, who's been brilliant. And then it's on to Pittsburgh. You see the pitching matchups there. Tommy Glavine will kick off things in the Pirates ballpark. David Cone going Wednesday. Jay Saw on Thursday. Then it's back to Shea next weekend against the Florida Marlins. The runner goes. Piazza's throw bounces out there right on the money. He got him. He cut him down. I don't know if Mike Piazza can make a better throw than that, using the artificial surface perfectly. Been doing that since baseball was invented, although not with bottled water.
Sometimes they'd have a bucket of ice down there. They get your feet in there. The artificial surface can get so hot. And then the trainer would come over and rub you with ammonia. I remember Tom McKenna was my trainer. He'd come in on these real hot days and artificial surface, and you know, all the ballparks, St. Louis and Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, all those ones when I played that had the artificial surfaces. Tom McKenna was a trainer. He'd be right there with that ammonia towel, iced ammonia towel, just to kind of refresh you. Actually, the pitchers got it the best, but how about the guys, poor guys, that are standing out there on the artificial surface with that turf degree, supposedly 135 degrees. There were days in St. Louis, I know some guys had blisters on their feet. It was a lot more than 135.
That's right, could melt those spikes. Bunted foul by Cedeno. The new pitcher, Stewart, the left-hander, so he'll turn over Cedeno and Alomar should we get that far. Timo Perez on deck. Cedeno is 0 for 3 so far. He's grounded out each time. Once to short, once to second, once to third. Trying to hold up, he committed.
Roger Cedeno really struggling with the bat, and especially from the right side. Just did not pick that breaking ball up, whether it was a slider or a splitter.
On the year, he does not have a hit batting from this side of the plate. Granted, just a handful of at-bats. He's 0 for 4. Frank Robinson is a manager not the least bit concerned about using his bullpen. He will use everyone he can. Ground ball to Cabrera. He handles the turf very well.
1 run scored in this ball game. Guess who scored it?
That would be Mr. Perez in the first inning.
That most certainly would. Mr. Timo Perez.
353 that batting average, and it's going to be harder and harder to say no to him.
Well, when you got a ball club that is really scuffling to score runs, and the Mets are scuffling today to score runs, I mean, you can't take the guy that seems to be hitting the ball out of the lineup. I'm really sure how long Cliff Floyd will be out.
Well, Cliff was walking around after last night's game. Gentle pop up this time in left center field. Wilkerson fighting the sun, hauls it in. 2 away. So if that was good news, Floyd not in the lineup today, obviously has not played, but he was walking around on an aching Achilles, which cost him 10 weeks in 1999 with Florida when he tore that.
That's not a good number.
Alomar perfect today, 2 for 2 with a pair of singles and a walk. Nobody on base for Roberto, batting right-handed. That's ball 1. Alomar started the day at .244 hitter overall, with just 1 for 13 this side of the plate, but he drills that one, hit it square, but Wilkerson will haul it in. Now Leiter has already done his job. He went 6 exceptional innings. Al once again putting the Mets in position to win a ball game, and today to try and snap a 4-game losing streak. Al would improve to 3-0. Weathers looked just fine in the 7th inning. Now here in the 8th, he faces some tough hitters in Vidro, and then Vladimir Guerrero, and then Will Cordero.
Pretty big man to keep off the base right here, and then baseball comes down to certain outs that you have to get, and those that hit in front of the number 3 or number 4 hitter stay away from the worst case scenario. And this is a huge out, and this guy is a good player. This guy is a real good player and a fine hitter.
You can hit the ball out of the park too. You don't expect much power out of your second baseman. He had a higher batting average last year, scored more runs than Brett Boone, Jeff Kent, Luis Castillo, and Fernando Vina, and a higher on base percentage than all four of them. He's a line drive hitter. Good fastball on the inside corner, and Weathers gets a terrific hitter.
A perfect pitch, and guess who knew it? Fastball right in the inside corner, and see you later. Vito walking away. That's just an absolutely bullseye perfect pitch. Ball running back into the strike zone. Vito had given up on it. And that great movement bringing it back by David Weathers. He is really a foxhole pitcher, and another huge out. Such is the life of the closer and/or setup man right here.
So he gets Vidro. Now he faces a guy who hit .336 a season ago. Guerrero has been quiet today. 0 for 2, but he has hit Weathers in the past. He hit him again, but this time right to Bell. It was perfectly situated for the out. 2 gone. And really the 2 most dangerous hitters in the lineup. Weathers gets them both.
Well, he's one of the best players in all of baseball. Look at Stanton warming up in the bullpen for the Mets. You talk about Guerrero. When you can get him and keep him in the ballpark, you know, he doesn't do any harm to you offensively. You've done a pretty good job. 2 ground balls are short, and a little pop fly in the infield, and 1 walk from Al Leiter.
The batter Cordero with the bases empty, and that's ball 1, and that is Mike Stanton warming up out there in the bullpen. So right now it's the lefty. We are still in the 8th inning. Ground ball routinely. Bell handles the chance. Side retired. New pitcher on the hill for the Expos. That's Rocky Biddle, who closed out last night's victory for the Expos, which was 5-4. But the Mets have the lead in this one, 1-0. Mike Piazza will lead things off against the right-hander, and incidentally, Armando Benitez has started to loosen up in the bullpen for New York. David Weathers with 2 terrific innings.
Well, look what arrived here. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you didn't.
I got that written down what those things are. Tostones.
I thought you knew that off the top of your head.
Well, I kind of did, but I had to look at the guy to double check on the spelling.
Yeah.
Tostones.
They're delicious, by the way.
Those are deep fried, smashed plantains. They look like bananas when they start, and they come out looking like something else.
A trickler by Piazza. Tatis up and throwing. Close play. Mike went down hard, and he's safe at first base. A tremendous effort by Piazza, but is he okay? He hit the bag a little awkwardly and then tumbled behind the bag. He's going to get up.
Well, Piazza lunged for the bag. The ball bobbled by Tatis right there. Another extra step, and that's why Piazza was able to beat it out. He jammed himself going into that bag with that big long stride. Watch the bobble right there, and the extra step by Tatis. And Joe McEwen is going to come in and run for Mike Piazza and make sure that he is okay. Piazza, as he always does, hustling down to first base, and simply hustle, not presuming that the third baseman is going to be able to make the play cleanly, and that's why he ends up with it's either going to be scored as a hit and or an error, one of the two. But a leadoff base runner in a 1-run ball game. Tip your hat to Mike Piazza.
Oh, you're in that base hit, and it is a single. So McEwen becomes the runner at first base. Also notice Mike Piazza did not head first dive.
Not until after he went. Not until after. Yeah. Not until he crossed the bag anyway.
Yeah, that's when he hit the deck. Tony Clark flies that one into left field. And so the catch to be made near the line, and that is out number 1. McEwen retreats back to first. A look at the out-of-town scores now, brought to you by Lexus. Atlanta leading pretty late in their ball game against the Florida Marlins. Good to see Mike smiling a little bit for a change after what has been a very frustrating couple of weeks for him.
Boy, he was livid and hot last night when he
was coming out of that jersey.
I don't think I've ever seen him that mad.
Ty Wigginton 0 for 3 today. The Mets have a man on here in the 9th inning. Benitez still loosening up in the bullpen, so he will be called on to close it. It has been an adventure lately. And a couple of heartbreaking losses where Benitez has blown the save. And the big right-hander is getting prepared. You know, if you're Art High, you certainly could say, well, as the runner goes, the pitch is swung on, hit through the hole for a base hit. McEwing heading into third. The throw not in time. A collision. He held the bag. He's safe. Ty Wigginton with a base hit, so they're on the corners.
Aggressive play by Art Howe puts on the hit and run with the hottest hitter in the lineup right in the hole. The AstroTurf single and the strong throw in left field. And good hustle by Joe McEwing, who was pinch running for Mike Piazza. A couple of steps, pick up the ball, be aggressive, go. Good speed, Joe. And into third base. So the Mets all of a sudden now with one out here looking for an insurance run. Runners at first and third and just one out.
Jeremy Burnett's thinking about a fly ball here to bring in this run. Strike one to Jeremy. He's 0 for 3. I was about to say, I'm sure people are watching the telecast thinking, well, David Weathers was as crisp as it gets for 2 innings. With the problems Benitez has had, why not roll Weathers out for the 9th inning? If you're Art Howe, there is no question in the matter. You bring in your closer.
If you're going to win in the long term, you got to do it with the guy, the 25-minute on your staff, and that's the job of Armando Benitez. That's the way the game is developed. You talk to Goose Gossage or Eckersley or Raleigh Fingers, they say, listen, you know, a save in the old days was come in and pitch 3 innings. It wasn't so defined. If you're pitching well, you might pitch as many as 5 innings in the ball game. But through the way the game has been developed, over the last 10 to 15 years, is the setup man, the closer man. And David Weathers did not throw many pitches at all.
He did not.
But the job belongs to Armando Benitez.
Wigginton gets back in. McEwing on the other corner.
And if you win, the Mets are going to win. They're going to have to do it with Armando Benitez. And that's his job, and he has to continue to establish that he can handle that position, which he certainly can.
The 1-1. Inside this time, a patient Burnett looking for something he can drive, get in the air. Jay Bell next. The Mets have not scored since the very first inning. The Expos haven't scored all day. That's a ball. Another good eye by Burnett. 3-1. A giant insurance run waiting 90 feet from the plate. That's ball 4. That loads him up.
Well, they had no interest in pitching to Jeremy Burnett. You got to presume that Frank Robinson has either gotten into his pitcher's head, and in that situation it looks like it's going to be a 1-run ball game. Let's go for a double play, load the bases, get right-hander against right-hander. Jay Bell, who came in the ball game in the second inning, has struck out a couple of times and bounced to shortstop. I mean, he hit the first time in the second inning, excuse me, and then had struck out a couple of times and bounced to short.
First pitch to him is right along the black edge of the plate for strike 1. Look at his numbers with the bases loaded. Pretty impressive. 6 grand slams. There's another good sign. Cliff Floyd in the on-deck circle. Did not start today. 1-1 that Achilles that he strained last night after base hit late in the game in the 7th inning. That might be something he's going to battle all season long. So met at every base here in the 9th inning. The pitch to Bell, tried to hold and could not. That's a strike. 1-2.
Jay has done that several times during the course of the day. Does not read that pitch. It's either the slider or the forkball splitter. And they've been throwing Jay Bell some dandies here today.
The 1-2. He threw the bat at it, swung and fouled it off. He actually got a piece of that. The bat rolled out behind the pitcher's mound, but Bell's still alive. Jeff Kellogg, the second base ump, flips it back to him.
This is not something you see very often. Pitch way out of the strike zone and fouled off. Oh, and all the way by the pitcher's mound. Pitcher didn't pick it up and give it back to him, did he?
No, he didn't. He ignored it.
The old mentality of the closer. One of those guys pitches deep out of that bullpen.
2-2. Yeah, that was like something a dog owner says to another dog owner. That's yours. You scoop it up.
That does not belong to me. And I don't want it in my yard either.
All filled up for Bell. Fouled off again, and again he lost the handle of it. Has to go back to retrieve the bat.
Well, when you get a veteran player like Bell, he knows the ball's hit on the ground, doesn't know if it's going to be in fair territory or not, knows he hasn't hit it all that well, and of course exactly what he wants to do is stay out of the double play. The biggest thing in his mind, put the ball in play, stay out of the double play.
Good breaking ball, caught him looking. Boy, that was a sharp breaking pitch to strike out Bell.
You can tell the reaction of Jay Bell didn't look like he picked it up. And a late breaking pitch to see if it's a splitter or a curveball. That splitter you can see by the it's curveball. Excuse me. He did not. I didn't look like it might have been the splitter in the glove, and that's a high curveball. And Jay just did not pick up the spin of that ball.
So Cliff Floyd will bat here in the 9th inning. 2 down, bases loaded. After sitting the entire day to this point with a strained right Achilles. The artificial surface didn't help him last night. He swings and pops it up. Cordero back to get it. Sides retired. Armando Benitez will take to the hill, trying to close out a victory for the New York Mets. It is 1-0. Bottom half of the 9th inning. He's 0-2, having blown a couple of saves, including a week ago today against the same Montreal Expo team when he gave up the 3-run homer to Jeff Leiter at Shea. Orlando Cabrera faces him first, and the first pitch is right through there for a strike. Now you've seen Benitez a lot. How important, and I know for a lot of closers it's vital to get that first one in there for a strike. How big is it for him?
Strike one in the first out. You know, the other thing that we talked about, it's one of the things we talked about yesterday, as this is an emotional individual in Armando Benitez and very sensitive. And this is a very emotional arena in which to play, stage to be on. I mean, this is not only Puerto Rico, but this is all of Latin America and the Hispanic players.
Fly ball deep to left field, sailing Perez back. I don't believe it. That is unbelievable. He faces one hitter and the game is tied. Cabrera takes him out of the park. Jay Bell trying to convince Benitez to shake it off. How do you shake this off? Tied up at 1. We're starting all over again. So it has happened again to Armando Benitez. Here's Wilkerson trying to bunt his way on. He fouls it away.
Well, a high fastball right down Broadway, and Cabrera says, I will take care of this. Boy, a line drive. We're talking about the wind blowing in here in San Juan in this ballpark. And if you're going to hit the ball out, you got to hit a line drive. Then that's exactly what happened. Brad Wilkerson tried to drag one on that first pitch from Armando Benitez. And I bet you Frank Robinson's going to ask him why. Left-handed fastball hitter against a fastball pitcher.
Swing and a miss there.
That's a splitter right there. That's not the first pitch that he saw. He saw the fastball. Wilkerson is a guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. And you could just read the expressions on the faces of the Met coaches and know exactly how they feel.
Yep, same thing that we said here. It happened again. I don't have to tell you, a major league fastball at 97, a big league hitter is going to hit it if it's straight. And Cabrera knocked a line drive out of this ballpark that was out of here in about 2.5 seconds. Into the dirt, blocked by Wilson. Vance Wilson now doing the catching. Well, certainly the Mets had the bases loaded in the 9th inning. Could not get across that insurance run as Floyd popped up. And you were ticking off the names of great closers, guys like Gossage and Eckersley, Suter, guys like that. Those guys protected 1-run leads. That one ripped foul off to the right.
Here's the pitch and line drive home run, and the reaction by Armando Benitez. And it's almost as if he can't believe it. He's snake bit. You saw the bit of the grin, and that was line drive. When he hit it, you knew it was out of here.
A 1-1 tie here in the 9th inning. Fouled away by Wilkerson. Tatis next.
Wilkerson would like to have that one back right there. He walked away going, ooh. And my point being, why would a left-hand hitter try to drag bunt in this situation after just seeing the last fastball turned around, talking about the first pitch in the sequence to him, and he was right on that fastball.
3-2 struck him out. One gone in the 9th inning. Very difficult week for Benitez. And for the Mets, who are trying to win and break a 4-game losing skid today. Tatis has been hit by pitch twice. He's also lined out to third. 132.4.
I told you 135.
Temperature's actually dropping on the field. Orlando Cabrera leading off the bottom of the 9th inning with a line drive home run to tie it off of Benitez. Barrett the next man in. Bounced up there to the plate. 1-2.
That's a 55-foot splitter right there. Seen that several times from Zach Day, the starter for the Montreal Expos today, and that's no 2 pitch, and make sure you get it down. It kind of serves no purpose whatsoever. It just was almost 50 feet.
2-2. Tell you what, the Expos, this was kind of a grand experiment to come to San Juan and play 22 home games, but they're loving it here. Fouled away right at home plate. Won the first 2 games of the series, and now they come back in the 9th inning and tie up this one. One more to play here tomorrow. A 4:45 start time. They're hoping it'll be a little cooler when Javier Vasquez takes the mound against Steve Traxel tomorrow. Pitch. Line drive and a base hit to center. Tatis is on. And so the potential winning run aboard now for Montreal in the 9th.
Fernando Tatis is not a guy that The last couple of years have been known to catch up with a 95-mile-an-hour plus fastball, and he's gotten to a couple of them today and laid on one of them, and that one he got fastball right up the middle. Winning run at first base, they're going to pitch run for it. And if that's Armando Benitez's best fastball up above the top of the strike zone, there's either a radar gun that isn't working correctly or just inconsistent with his fastball, or some combination of the two.
Jamie Carroll running at first base for the Expos, takes over for Tatis, and here's Michael Barrett. And twice today he's hit into a double play, and he's also bunted back to the pitcher. He flies that one to center field. Cedeno with a play, though. It's right in front of him, and they're 2 away. The Expos once again will go to the bench. Jose Macias will be the pinch hitter. He'll dig in on the left side here. He's a switch batter. Hitting 125 at the moment. A 1-1 tie in the bottom of the ninth. The man at first for Montreal. I know that Jay Bell went out behind the mound and tried to talk Armando to refocusing and forgetting about the home run that tied the game. But if you're on the diamond, and this has happened yet again for the 3rd time with Benitez on the mound, and the 4th time already this season as far as a closing situation goes, you can't help but be deflated. Your chin is on the deck. 1-0.
And you would surmise it's probably certainly more mental than it is physical.
Certainly
becomes a mental aspect of the game. That's why Jay Bell is over there talking to him.
The 1-0 pitch will not be made. He guns it over, and Carroll back in.
One thing that's happened to the Mets when they pinch ran for Piazza, certainly getting Vance Wilson in the ball game, who was an excellent defensive catcher. There's Mike, who left the game after getting that infield single, stumbling over first base. Piazza threw out a runner today, made a great throw. One hopper off the AstroTurf.
And you thought that hustle single, which helped load up the bases in the 9th inning, would help produce an insurance run. It did not. 2-0 on Macias. Now 3-0. Benitez is one more wide pitch from putting the winning run at second base. And Chavez, who's been a Met killer, coming up next. The 3-0. Ball 4.
Wow.
So he walks him. He's allowed a homer, a single, and a walk here in the 9th. What is Art Howe to do with Armando Benitez? No one warming up in the bullpen. It's the closer's game. Chavez the hitter.
Well, it's up to Armando, obviously, and that's a statement that Art Howe is making. Hey, listen, he's my closer. That's his job. That's what he's done before, and he's got to be able to adjust to it. I mean, this is much an emotional management decision right here as it is anything else. It's Armando, this is your job. You know, you're a veteran. I shouldn't have to kick you in the rear end. You've got to be able to motivate yourself and get this stuff done. You've got a young pitcher, a young hitter up there now in Chavez, who is a dead fastball hitter. He is an undisciplined hitter, will chase fastballs out of the strike zone, but he is a good fastball hitter.
First and second, 2 down in the bottom of the 9th. We're tied at 1. Benitez pitching. A strike again. Chavez thought it was high, and so did the crowd here. But it's 0-2.
And the mark of a closer is putting somebody away, certainly. And this is, you saw Vern roll his head down. This is what he's looking for right here. Put somebody away.
Roll foul. Chavez stays alive.
Put somebody away, and that was some sort of breaking ball high up in the strike zone. It didn't look like a splitter, maybe a slider, but he was way out in front of it. Look where the pitch is. I think that was fastball.
The pitch blown away. Chavez without a hit today, 0 for 4, but hitting .421 in his previous 5 games coming into this afternoon. Carroll the runner at second. Macias at first. And now it's 2-2. You're talking about putting him away. Benitez will try to do that without going to 3-2. Home run ball has bitten him again today. Struck him out swinging. 2 men left. Carroll takes over at third base. The ground ball is out to short, and Cabrera, who tied it on the home run moments ago, throws him out. Cedeno gone, 6-3. We're into extra innings here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Tom Seaver, Dave O'Brien with you as Mike Stanton starts to get ready in the pen. Well, David Weathers pitched 2 marvelous innings. Al Leiter 6 very gutsy innings today, but that has gone to waste. And here's Timo Perez. He's doubled, walked, grounded out, flied out today, 1 for 3.
Roger Cedeno has been playing pepper with the shortstop all day, and
he has 3 times he's grounded to him. Once to second and once to third. Timo able to get the ball airborne in the first inning for the double, and then Alomar brought him in with a base hit. That is the only run the Mets have scored. They scored in the first inning, and the Expos in the bottom of the 9th. A swinging bunt popped up, and Cabrera makes the grab. 2 away. So the Mets held to 6 hits so far. Montreal held to 5.
that style of play, nothing new to Timo Perez. You could see the expression he had afterwards. He actually is very good at that. That swinging bunt, putting the ball in play, utilizing his speed, keeping his feet in the batter's box before he makes contact. Step out and make contact. You're out of there. He just hit the bottom half of the ball. He actually had a good pitch to handle. That's why the reaction that he had. The ball was up right out where he could see it. Now, right now, you know, a lot of people in this ballpark saying, hey, Robbie Alomar, have a good day. Have a great day. You've had a good day so far. Have a great day.
That would mean a potential game-winning home run, would it not?
Potentially. That's exactly right. We talked about the number of ways that Robbie Alomar can beat you. Glove, speed, bunt, average, defense. Just an overall knowledge of the game and the right way to play the game. And he beats you with power once in a while as well.
He's back to his favorite side, the left side, but he grounds that one to Vidro. He vacuums it up, and that's a fast 10th inning for the Mets.
And the Mets will turn it over to Mike Stanton, left-hander out of that bullpen. One of the things, you know, we went into commercial and we come out and all of a sudden you see Stanton come in from the bullpen, and why don't we get Armando back there? I shouldn't put it that way, but it might be of an advantage to put Armando back on the mound, if nothing else, to help him his own psyche. And I mean, we don't know what goes on in the bench and whether they have a pitch limit for certain individuals, where we were talking about Raleigh Fingers and Gossage and those guys sometime pitching, you know, 3, 4, 5 innings out of the bullpen, even though they were the so-called closer. And one of the things that happens is that pitchers can get so off track mentally, and we talked about mentally and physically both, and really you're not going to get back on track unless you're on the mound. And to me it seems that Armando did not throw that many pitches, that he easily could have gone out there and worked another one. I'll try and get himself ironed out.
Right out there just long enough to blow the save. Jose Vidro coming up. You have good fastball hitters here. And Vidro and Guerrero. And there's a swing and a high fly ball to left field. Backing up Perez. Kiss that one goodbye and kiss the game goodbye. Jose Vidro circling the bases with the cheers of his countrymen ringing in his ears. He was born and raised about 45 minutes from this ballpark, and what a moment for him. And isn't this the essence of sports? He celebrated at home plate, and the Mets lose a stunner again. They're chanting for Jose Vidro. And tonight he will be the pride of Puerto Rico. A game-winning home run in the 10th inning.